Reporting live with Josh Perkins. I'm here with Liberty Bracken, and I have a few questions for her. First question: how do sports give and take away educational opportunities?
As an academic advisor, I've really gotten to see the way that being a student athlete can really benefit a student. At the same time, I can also see how the cons that have affected them in the classroom as well. So, on the field and in the classroom, being a student athlete, you get the opportunity to actually get a lot of support services surrounding each student. And with that, what I mean by that is you get an academic advisor that really helps you with registration, major navigation, future plans and goals. You also get a learning specialist that works with you to try and help you with those study habits that you had in high school and whether or not those are helping transition well into college. So with a learning specialist, if the transition isn't going very well, they can kind of help you learn new skills. At the same time, it also helps you with getting tutoring and help that you need for classes. So you can have 1 to 2 hours a week per class. And with tutoring, it's a lot of a time commitment, but because of it, it really helps in keeping that support and facilitating that learning, that especially with students who have to travel a lot, which can be a con. Traveling a lot makes them miss class, and then with missing class, they're missing material. And so with tutoring, it sometimes can help close that gap between the missing stuff that they have. But we also understand that tutoring isn't supposed to be there to kind of help reteach a class, but more facilitate that type of learning. And so it's very beneficial to have 40 tutors on staff that work with students who are undergraduate tutors or graduate students or just former teachers, TAs, or professors who just really enjoy the field. And aside from tutoring and learning specialists, we also have a sports psychologist on staff. And with sports psychology, that can really help you with your mental game, as well as performing on the field and in the classroom. So being a student athlete can create a lot of pressure and burden and burnout. And so with having all those different things that are going on, having a sports psychologist can really help with the mental toughness, resiliency, and that balance from what it is that pressure can bring to the table when you're a student athlete. Each sport is really different in the sense of the different pressures, outside pressures that can happen, and it's pretty unfortunate with the spotlight that's put onto specific sports that a mistake that you could partake in could show up on the Seattle Times or in the news, versus if a regular student got into trouble, people have never heard about it. And so it's a lot of speculation and criticism and scrutiny that are put on student athletes. And that's where having a sports psychologist and a sports psychologist fellow available to kind of help with that process. Some students that our sports psychologist also works with are students who didn't necessarily know that they might have had a learning disability in the past, but realize that transition is even more difficult because they're struggling with either processing speeds, or they might have dyslexia or ADD or ADHD. So we actually provide testing as well that is a really intensive 6-hour testing, but it can provide that student with accommodations that can really help them perform a lot better as well. So with having a learning specialist, an academic advisor, sports psychologist, we also have someone that kind of helps with career planning and life skills and goals for after college. So resume building, cover letter writing, meeting with someone to do mock interviews, and networking. So with being a student athlete, you have access to different networks that you wouldn't have had as a regular student. There are some companies that even reach out to us specifically because they want to work with a student athlete who has a lot of transferable skills that they learned while they were being on a team. And with that being said, it's almost like having another hand up, like, hey, as a student athlete, these are the different experiences I had that some companies really enjoy and really like. But with that said, too, it also helps you talk about how even though you're a student athlete, and as being a student athlete, you had so much time committed to your sport that you didn't have time to get experience or another job, you can show how your experience as a student athlete benefits you in a field down the line. But it can be really difficult to do all of that, and so that's why we have all these different staff and support staff on place to kind of help a student athlete navigate that. But with that being said, there's a lot of cons too, because of the time commitment that's put into their sport. It's almost having another full-time job with and their schedules are booked from 5, 6 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night with lifting and with practice and with class and with watching film and with travel and tutoring and everything. It can be really difficult to handle. And so some student athletes can't take advantage of opportunities like studying abroad for an entire quarter because they can't be gone for 3 months because of their athletic commitments. But the fortunate opportunity that we can provide them is creating programs like 10 days where a student athlete can take 10 days off of their sport to go through another experience that they didn't necessarily think that they could have ever had if it weren't for coming to an institution and offering a study abroad opportunity too. So some students might not have actually even had a passport or left the States or anything like that now are getting a passport and going to French Polynesia or Rome or all different areas to have a transformative experience. So as much as they might have to sacrifice one thing, they can gain something else. But with being a student athlete comes a lot of sacrifice. Their social life, their ability to just, hang out, have outside friends from outside of their teams can be hard too because they're spending so much time. Even their roommates are most likely student athletes too. And so they have to make that extra effort to kind of have that same collegiate experience that a regular student would get. But obviously a regular student sometimes, they look up to student athletes and wish that they had that opportunity too. But it can definitely outweigh each other, pro and con.
Thank you, Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with Vita Bay. What's up, bud? How you doing, man?
How's your day today?
Dab on us. All right.
How's your day today?
My day was awesome, bro. We just, it's just lovely.
It's awesome.
A few questions for my young sir right here.
How many questions?
3.
Oh, yep.
What educational factors have you gained while being a student athlete?
Well, one of them would have to be coming here to college and getting a free education and meeting new people, like meeting new teammates on my team, other student athletes, students from classes and building relationships, and also meeting faculty members such as academic advisors, and also meeting Professor Holly Barker and getting to take her class, and eventually going to study abroad to French Polynesia. And at first, when I first got here, I didn't expect to go to study abroad, and yeah, at first I didn't expect to go study abroad, but then what's it called? After taking Holly's class and meeting some of the faculty members, I was on board to go, and so yeah, we went to Tahiti, and I experienced like a lot of new things and met a lot of new people there, and got closer with people that I met, and closer with some of my teammates that I met there, and being a Pacific Islander, I learned like much about their culture, and I saw like a lot of similarities between the cultures, and what I learned like one thing was that my culture and their culture is like, it's kind of the same, but I would say it's like pretty different between with like the cultural aspect, or not the culture, with the religious aspect between things, and I also learned that they're also family oriented over there, and they're big with family over there, and the food is the same. The food tastes good. What's it called? Sorry, Holly, I'm messing up right now.
It's all good, bro. How does your culture view education, and what standards are placed in regards to higher education?
Can you repeat that question?
How does your culture view education?
Oh, my culture. So I got this one. So my culture is like built off of respect and like hardworking people and like religion. And the thing about my parents instilled was that them working hard, like instilled that like them working hard for me to get to where I am now. Had to like basically showed me that I have to work hard in school. And
Are you the first person in your family to go to college?
I'm actually not being the youngest. I was beat to the punchline, so I'm not the first one.
What are the demographics back home? Do they take school seriously, and do they view higher education as one of their goals?
Back home, it was like there's like a lot of violence and gang violence. So like growing up, like the kids I hung out with didn't really take school seriously or anything. So I fell into the trap of like not going to class and then not doing homework or taking school seriously. But then I feel like my sport, playing football, kept me out of a lot of trouble. So then, like once I started taking football seriously, like I knew how to take school seriously to be able to continue my career with football. So that helped out, and I feel like it's a good thing me being here for like being a good role model for kids coming up in the neighborhood I grew up in. And like when I go home, like them seeing me coming back to like my old high school and working out, and like the kids in high school seeing me work out with them, like training with them, like like builds their. I feel like it builds their confidence, and like it helps them want to go to college. And like instead of like and also kids who get in trouble a lot. That like my old coach talks to me a lot. Like he tells me like he wants me to talk to this kid, and I go talk to him, and then like it helps. I feel like it helps them want to pursue like football or whatever or sport they're in, and I think I'm a good mentor for them. And yeah.
Thanks, Vita. I appreciate it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We flipped the script on you guys.
Gentlemen.
I'm here with Josh Perkins.
Jazzy Fizzle.
And
Production.
the first question I have for you is explain your journey as a student athlete.
Well, personally, my journey as a student athlete started in high school. When I first started getting recruited to come to college, I didn't think that I was going to be able to come to college because personally my family couldn't afford to send me there. So if it weren't for athletics, then I don't think that I would have been able to further my education. For my family, the only way that you're going to go to college is if you got a scholarship. And that's how my sisters before me got to college, and that's how my brothers before me got to college. So as far as coming to college, that was a pivotal role in sending me to college.
Next question I got for you is, what's the biggest thing you took out of this class?
For me, I would have to say the service learning experience at Foster High School. Foster High School is known as one of the most diverse high schools in the nation, so going there, it really allowed me to experience things from their standpoint. It allowed me to be a role model to the kids that needed help, and it allowed me to give back to the community. The first day we went to Foster High School, we started talking to the kids, and we were telling them and asking them about did any of them wanted to go to college, and all of them raised their hand. But when we talked about the clearinghouse and stuff and classes that they needed to take to go to college, many of them didn't have a good understanding of what they needed to do. So what we did when we got there was really tell them and help them out and give them chances to go to college. Well, during our service learning at UPrep, we used participant observations, and that was a great way to learn. Instead of reading about inequalities in the textbook, we were able to actually experience it. We went to UPrep, and we also went to Foster multiple times, but when we went to UPrep, you could definitely see the disparities in the achievement gap. And you can see that at UPrep, the classes were smaller. There was only 15 kids per classroom, so it created a better learning environment for the students. And when we went to Foster, you saw that there were maybe 30 people in the classrooms. There were kids all over the place. They weren't really paying attention. They weren't locked in because there were so many students in one class. So you really got to see the private versus public schools. Holly, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be in your class this quarter. I really learned a lot, and I really thank you for that. With me wanting to go into coaching later on in life, it really gave me a chance to interact with kids and see just the tools that I need and the tools that I already have to help these kids out, because not everyone has the same opportunities. So we need to do things that can narrow the achievement gap and help kids get to college, help less fortunate kids get there instead of just assuming that they're going to be able to get there